Friday. We call it Friday because my name is Maxximillian. And did you know I have a token? It's the MXXN token. And on Friday is when the airdrops happen. Every Friday. If you're following me on Warpcast, if you reshare or comment, you're going to get an airdrop. So Friday is always Friday for those beautiful airdrops. My name is Maxximillian, and you are with Onchain Music Cabal. Here we are. We are also the MOB musicians on blockchain. And we are with you, Maxximillian, here with my friend GodCloud, coming to you live and direct, talking about music on the blockchain, art on blockchain, fine music and art technology, and everything in between. The matters of being a musician, talking about process, lyrics, language, magnitude, amplification, even social media strategy. Sometimes we talk about it all. So thank you for joining us. GodCloud, why don't you take it away?
Yo, what's going on, yo? GodCloud here, multi-instrumentalist, first finger drummer on the blockchain, inaugural MOB mob member. Happy to be here in the new year with Maxximillian. Have no fear. I'm not gonna start rapping. I might, but yeah, we got a cool show. We're gonna be cooking on stuff. Usually what we do is we'll ask a question, and before the show, we'll kind of bounce around some ideas and some answers, but we didn't do that today. So y'all are gonna see us figure it out live on camera. So let's go. I'm ready. Oh, pull the thing down.
I just got to get the hang of this. Sometimes I'm talking on the microphone. Sometimes I've got this one. So thank you so much for that. Sometimes I got my finger on the mute button, right? Sometimes I'm talking on the phone and I'm looking for that emoji button and I'm like, oh, it's a phone call. I can't actually
Right.
put. That's how we rolling. So 2025, welcome to the new year. So for myself, as I was thinking about topics for the show today, I was really thinking about how I can ensure that the 2025 that I'm envisioning is the 2025 that happens or something even better. And when I look back, the one thing that I feel I could most improve upon is I'd really like to show up more for my mob friends, my musicians on the blockchain. I'd love to be more involved. I'd love to see more music happening. I'd love to be present at more music things, and I'd love to connect with more musicians, still high off the fumes of Art Basel, still high off the Zal Festival in Miami. It was so wonderful to see you perform live, God Cloud, and so many of our other friends. Yeah, it was so great to see you. And I would love to do more of that. And I feel like I miss out on a lot of things. I know, like last year in particular, I know that you and Paul Point contributed a song to Adabody and Losi's remix competition. Like that was pretty amazing. And I think throughout the year, there's all kinds of different stuff going on. And I would love for 2025, I'd love to be more looped into the on-chain music things. And I'm trying to figure out how we can do that.
Yeah, it's I feel like I backed off for a while too. I was really out of the loop on a lot of shit because it's like I'll be honest, I didn't care. I didn't think anybody was really innovating um, enough for me to be interested. If I'm being completely fucking honest, I saw a lot of people just doing the same shit. People thinking, oh well, yeah, this is it's a PFP, but there's music playing also, and if you buy it, I'll give you my firstborn. That's what a lot of music NFTs were. For shit from like I guess since they really started to kind of gain some traction. And you probably saw my post of me saying that. What did I say? I was just really like jigging at the Web3 music scene. I'm like, all right, how are we gonna be absolutely insufferable today, crypto musicians? All right, I said that musicians are like, or crypto musicians are like the vegans of crypto Twitter, because they always have to have it in their bio, like the little leaf. Vegans always have like, oh, like I'm so and so, like
Talk
rock
about
climbing.
my leaf. Don't talk about my leaf, bro. You're talking about my leaf, bro.
I no. I'm always like, why you gotta put the leaf in there? Like meat eaters don't put like a chicken bone in it. But now, you know what?
Why? You know what? Meat eaters should put a fucking chicken bone because y'all be putting chicken and stuff where there shouldn't be any chicken. You
You
know, like why? Don't even get me started about all the vegetable dishes that are ruined by beef bones and all the other kind of stuff y'all be putting in there. You should put a chicken bone. Don't talk about my leaf, bro.
yo, but you know what? I've since changed my stance on it because now there's this sect of carnivores that are just like, oh hey, I'm gonna eat a raw plate of ground beef with some eggs on it. Like, oh, I'm like, you don't like that? That's not enjoyable. So
I've rocked with it. That's steak tartare with quail eggs. Give
listen,
it to me. Look, I'm plant-based, but if I have to eat it, I better get it raw. Give it to me raw. I'm like
listen.
Smeagol. You're ruining it. Ah!
If it's some high quality meat and some nice eggs, but if it's some fucking 80/20 and some Eggland's best, nah, no. Like that's what they're eating.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
That's what they're eating, and I'm like, ew. But yeah, so yeah, back to my point, like I really didn't care about what was going on in the Web3 music side of things for a while because I felt like everybody um had the wrong ethos behind it. And it's funny to see people just now starting to be like, oh well, maybe we don't need to, sell a million music NFTs for this to be viable. It's like, no, that was never the fucking point. But now that I'm back around, I'm like, okay, I think what I could do is try to lend um and when I say lend, I mean like in an artful way that I'm still protecting myself and my ideas. 'Cause I know people like to run with my fucking ideas. Um,
You and me both. Don't even get me started.
yeah, I know. It's like every idea that I give out, I should just give somebody a pair of running shoes too. It's like, all right, here's the idea. Here's the shoe. Now get out there and go make something with this. But yeah, no more of that. And yeah, and I think that like I can, just as I helped shape the space before I kind of went off to do my own thing. It's not like I left, but I was just paying less attention to it. And I do believe that I had a hand in shaping this space early on. I'm like, shit, I can come back and do that now.
Totally. You definitely have a hand in shaping the space early on.
Hell yeah, yeah. I think, a lot of us didn't. Sadly, some people can't didn't stick around or didn't feel appreciated enough, or I can't say everybody's reasons, but I think the best thing I can do is to and I'm gonna put this so artfully and delicately, but if I could putteth my footeth in the asseth of Web3 again, I think that I could help steer it in the proper direction that I think is best, which I'm now seeing that everybody else fucking is starting to think is the right way to go too. So
Which is?
yeah, and just telling our own stories, and not being so worried about like, oh, like how are we gonna get the Bored Ape people to like us? How are we gonna get the PFP projects to fuck with us, or like how are we going? And this might sound kind of backwards, but it's like I don't think the question should be like, how am I going to get Web3 to like my music? But it should just be, how am I going to get people to like my music? And that's really it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Um, I kind of see also like what I'm hearing is audience segmentation, which we know is a successful thing. How am I going to get Web3 to like my music? Sounds like audience segmentation, which
Yeah.
isn't a bad thing.
No, you know what? It's not bad, but if you're looking to scale, which has been the question, which has been like, how do we scale this? I don't think sticking strictly in Web3 is what's going to be the answer. Like I doubt I doubt that any of the like partnerships that I've gotten, I doubt I would have gotten any of those if I was just solely in Web3. You know, some yeah, but like with
But
the music. I'm sorry,
web
what's up?
web being in um, having mastery, I know you're probably going to laugh at me when I say you have mastery over this because it's all still so nascent, but compared to other people that could have been selected for the position, you having mastery in this nascent area is what made you special. So
Yeah, right, right, and
you're already special, but you know what I mean? Like,
yes, and
it's your
that's the thing.
interest in this
Like,
niche area that really makes you stand out too.
yes, yeah, but that, yeah, yeah, exactly. So I think that it was a combination of me being cool before I was in Web3, then me, kind of breaking new ground in Web3, and me still being cognizant enough to be like, okay, let me show some love to these outer circles still, um, to keep me, I guess, relevant, so that because I feel when people are trying to do something in Web3, if they don't have that previous clout or some external clout, it's harder to make an impression in
That's just
Web3.
in life. That's
Yeah.
just in life. Let me share something with you on this note. Some advice I received. It was like the most harsh advice ever, but it's the best, and it's just true. And I want to just put this out there for anyone who is coming to this conversation and they're like looking for leverage. I can't agree with you more, GodCloud. The last meeting that I had uh, for like screenwriting stuff, right? Because I'm a screenwriter. The feedback was that my talent is extraordinary and the thing I wrote was so good and so on, but that I needed to be more famous before they could help me. Real. They
Hmm.
gave me numbers. They're like, you need these numbers and then come back. As soon as you have these numbers, we want you. That was
Yeah.
real. It was like, that's all it is. And it's because that's just what it is. People want to feel secure in their job, and nobody is willing to, no matter, regardless of your talent, nobody wants to be the one to put their job on the line to promote you. But if they can point to and say you have 10,000 followers, then the person whose job would have been on the line can say, well, it's actually not me saying this person is good, but 10,000 or 100,000 or 21,000 or 31,000 people on Twitter and Instagram say this person is good. So this is why the social media, how many people you have following you, the only reason it matters is because the people whose job it is to hire you, they don't want to put their job on the line to say that you're the person for the job. But if your social media account can be the proof that you need, then their job can feel secure. This is the truth of how things are happening these days.
Yeah. And I think it even goes down to what people are willing to open their wallet for, you know? Because if you've got that bit of validation, then people are going to be like, oh, okay, like, it's going to make more sense. Or no, no, no. It's going to be easier for them to defend their purchasing choice because, oh, no,
100%.
they've been in movies, or they work with, because I noticed when I was working, when I first started, working with George and everything,
George,
you know,
who?
George George Lopez, like, people were on my dick, they
What do
were
you
on
mean
my
were? I think they're still
so
on your dick, God cloud.
not as much. There's some dry spots now,
There's some dress. You still got some vacancies, ladies. You hear that?
but no, like, people were like willing to like do so much, like, yo, like, hey,
Oh, tell us,
you
what
want
were
to
they
do this,
willing to do?
you want to do that, or like, hey, you want to do this drop, like, and even for me working with Sabet too, and whatever, like, I was getting platforms to like cover the gas fees for drops that they were asking
Amazing.
to do. Like, I was getting paid to drop on platforms and shit, which was wild. Like, I had never gotten anything like that. Like, damn, like, okay, this this platform is really about to just give me like $3,000 just to put out, less than 2 minutes of music on this platform. Like, fuck.
Amazing.
Okay,
Yo, $3,000. How many streams is that? Quick, quick. How many streams? Quick. Just kidding.
But no,
The
I think
correct
what was
answer is 333 million streams to equal $3,000.
really,
No, but probably.
I think like
Don't you
three
get like
thousand.
point? Don't you get like 0.0000001 cent per stream from Spotify if you've been on Spotify for over a year?
Hold
Da da
on.
da. I'm just very satirically being a complete pest because I'm down on Spotify for their terrible business practices. Being so stingy.
Hold on. Let's see. 3,000 divided by its point zero.
0.000
Damn. It's, let me see. It's 1 million. You need 1 million. Yeah, you need 1 million streams to get
I
3 grand.
know. That's
Yeah.
what. See, I said I was playing, but I'm a wizard, so my jokes are quite serious most of
Yeah.
the time.
No, for real though.
Three
But yeah,
thousand
like,
dollars to get to drop your song. Amazing.
and not only that too, but I still, made money off of the drop too. So I got paid to do the drop, and then I sold the drop. So I don't know exactly how much came off of that, but it was quite a bit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, cool. And all of that stuff was coming down because of, you know, just who I was close to. And not only that too, but I had like a previous track record of me doing cool shit. Like I had already been in magazines. I had been in Revolver. I had been in Alt Press. I had been in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I had been on TV. I had done a lot of shit already, and coming in saying that stuff, people are gonna look at you different. People are gonna start kissing your ass, and I
That's
and I
because
can.
it's the same as kissers from before are also here.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because the people who I've seen really like want it and really want to like come up and shit, they get so caught up into being this Web3 kind of personality that they don't tell their story, you know? And even though I'm not doxxed, like people, my real name, but like I'd say like 99% of people out there who fuck with me don't know my real name, you know? Um, and generally when they find out, it's when it's time to do some paperwork, when the contracts come out, that's when they see like my name.
They go,
Uh,
"Wow, your name is actually GodCloud. That's crazy."
just in cursive, but but no, like, and like I've watched people like make their crypto songs and be singing about the blockchain and this shit, that shit. But it's like, listen, fam, you didn't have motion prior. Now you're here making these blockchain songs. That's a dime a dozen. That's not gonna resonate with people.
What do
Like
you mean?
it's like, hey, good luck. Like I remember people being in tears when I was telling them about, my struggles with addiction and me fighting the fucking US government for my whole first year of being in Web3. And that was a fucking priceless reveal there. Like you can't ask for, like, you can't pay for this kind of fucking, like, like
Yo,
like
I wish you would have done a whole photo shoot when you had the ankle band. If you would have just done like a Playgirl thing with just the ankle bracelet, that would have been so hot. You, the guitar, and the ankle bracelet. Maybe some kicks. Okay, socks, shoe, guitar, ankle bracelet.
yeah.
That's it.
I
Like,
I've got some videos. I went like digging
oh,
for. I didn't tell you that that's what my drop on drip is centered around. It's ankle monitor era GodCloud drop
oh
on
my
drip.
gosh, I love it. I love it.
But yeah, like it's like, yo, get your story together, come back with that, and that's what's going to find you success in Web3, because people don't really know who you are, and it might be cool for the space that week or whatever. Like, oh yeah, play play that blockchain song. Like, oh yeah, da 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 da. But what people are really gonna fuck with you about is that real shit. You know, people want
Oh,
to
wait,
hear.
what? I'm sorry, but my blockchain songs are about real shit, okay? When I say lipstick popping, glossy lips popping, all branching with my crypto ladies, that's my real life player, okay? My crypto songs are real, okay?
See, now that, but again, that's a bar. That's you telling your story.
It's my
And
bar. Lip gloss popping, brunching with all crypto ladies. It's my
yeah,
crypto song. It's a
and
bar.
you know what? Like I fucks with that, but I don't want to hear just straight up like blockchainery the whole time because I'm like,
You don't
okay,
want to hear the chorus is crypto queens, crypto queen,
no, because
crypto king, crypto king.
even like, even I can still rock with that even because if you're
Okay, I don't have to go back and re-record that part
yeah,
then. Okay.
no. But if you're like saying like all if it's just like a song where every fucking bar is about crypto this, crypto that,
I open up my wallet, MetaMask again.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like okay, fam, we get it, we get it, we get it, we get it.
We get
You
it. You're
know,
on chain, fam.
right, right. Like and you know like I even I threw a line in the one track that we're working on with the Zao crew. Um, because I'm like, okay, like I'm not about to, not rap about this shit, So I threw a little bar in there, which I thought was fucking cool. Um,
Tell
but
us your crypto bar. Give us this bar, GodCloud, please. Tell us crypto bar.
um, what did I say? Um, hold on. Oh, okay. So, all right. So it leads up to this. I say, I'm just gonna wrap the last part. So I said it's Mob Rules. Set it off on y'all goons. Whole crew animal. More bars than the fucking zoo. Fuck wait, what is it? What is it? RSVP. Yeah, fuck a RSVP. I keep getting it mixed up. I had to re-record it because I said RVSP instead of RSVP. So fuck a RSVP. Tell security to move. And here it comes. We front run the game while y'all drowning in the mem pool, bitches. Which is it's super obscure. People might not know what a mempool is, but I wanted to equate it to like there people are like waiting in line to get into the club, which is kind of like what the mempool is. But we front run the game while they're drowning in the mempool, so we're in
Hot,
the thing, right, and I think
hot.
that just that small little bit in there is what gives us the pizzazz, like even with my songs about my old life. I'm not sitting there just talking like, yeah, I used to get the fucking inositol and add it with and hit it with the fucking Miami Ice, and then I would do this and do that and that, because people are gonna be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like I might say like, yo, I'll get that white girl and I cut it like OJ or some shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Smoke that first Newport. So crispy. You know that first cigarette you smoke after you get high. Woo! I mean, that's what I heard. I don't know from personal experience, obviously.
yo, I can't do the cigarettes, yo, the Newports. Oh my god! But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about,
I know you. I can see you don't know.
but
I can see exactly how you just don't know.
yeah. But no, like, yeah. So anyway, I feel like people, if you want, all these crypto people, before they were in the crypto, they were people. We're all just people essentially. So I'm gonna connect with your story more so if it's about some real shit. If you got a little, like crypto bar peppered in there, I think that's cool. I could rock with that. Cause think about it. When you find a dope song, you share it with your friends, right? You're like, yo, like, you pass me the aux, pass me the aux. Like, I got something for us. You know what I mean? And you play that shit,
Pass me the ox.
But if you play, like, even again, like, I take it back to the gangster rap shit. Like, I'm not about to play that. Like, I'm not about to play, like, Flames Dot Malik shoot it up for me in front of my mom because she's not gonna, you know, be getting like what the fuck. But you know, when I'm chilling with my dad, I'm like, yo, like listen to this shit. And my dad's like, yo, what? My dad's loving it. He's like, damn. He's like, these dudes is crazy, you know. But yeah, you know, I think you got more chance to onboard more people to your movement if your music is just not so heavily crypto based and shit, and you're not just specifically coming from the Web3 era, or you know the Web3 you know not the Web3, just coming from Web3 trying to get people to come fuck with you.
Okay, but before you, but let me say this to you. If you are a rapper, let's just stick with rap since that's what we're talking about, and you're looking to stand out in the mempool, right? You're in the world of Web 2. Being a rapper who raps about crypto is a standout thing for like, like if you're for somebody who doesn't know you. So like if a listener is looking at 10 unknown musicians or 10 unknown songs. Let's just say 10 unknown songs. It's not about the musician. 10 unknown songs. And one of those songs has some crypto shit. I'll be honest, that's the one I'm going to listen to first because I like crypto. So I feel like, whereas I totally agree with you, and of course, like, how could I disagree? Achieving any notoriety in any space will always be helpful. Look, here's a case in point. If you were to find out, audience, listeners, if you were to find out that I actually went to prison and I spent a lot of time in prison, and if you were to find out something like that about me, right, and how I rose to power in the women's prison, and I actually took over everything and changed the whole prison, the philosophies, and by the time I left there, the women treated each other differently, and the whole place had like I had this great impact at this women's prison where I was imprisoned, right? Um, that notoriety will follow me everywhere because of the kind of person that I am. And so I agree with you, GodCloud. It's true when a person achieves any kind of notoriety, it does help in Web3. But I think that's just a coincidence. People who achieve notoriety will achieve notoriety everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but even like okay, but you like think about how small the population is that fucks with crypto, and then bring that. Let's equate that to the music space. You're slicing your audience down a lot because not everybody's gonna get those crypto bars, you know.
But it's not about those few bars. It's about now. Let me make sure we're talking about the same thing because
Okay,
I
yes,
think that we're talking about appeal. So we're talking about an artist who's not already well known, right? We're going to assume the music is decent to good to great. And so I'm looking at it like looking at an artist who's not well known. If I don't know the artist and I haven't yet heard the music, I'm going to eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick someone to listen to that's a complete unknown. If I have this one little piece of data that this rapper likes or talks about crypto, as a crypto person, I'm gonna choose that one. And as a person who's not into crypto, if there's 10 unknowns, but this one talks about crypto, I'm still very likely to choose that one because it's a data point that I know something about, or even that's a curiosity. So
okay,
do you see what I'm saying? So if there's 10 unknown musicians and this one raps about crypto, even if I'm not into crypto, at least it's an outstanding data point that piques my curiosity. So whereas I completely agree with you and feel like as a musician, as an artist of any kind, you want to be able to stand on business besides just like one thing. You want to be able to talk about your money and your bitches. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to talk about, not only bitches all the time. You don't only want to be able to sing about partying all the time. You want to also be able to sing about that drug money that you be getting. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's not a bad thing for someone to be a crypto rapper and to call themselves that right now because I feel like it's still very niche. And I don't know. I know I hear a lot of people talking shit about it, especially rappers in the crypto space, but I'll be honest, every time I hear someone talking shit about crypto raps or whatever, I feel like it's just, you know, either you love it or you don't love it. If you love crypto, how can you not love the crypto rap? It's as simple as that. How can you not love a fucking song that tells you some shit about MetaMask because you know you use it? You know what I mean? I gravitate toward songs where the person is talking about stuff that I can relate to. You know, one of my favorite songs in the world is 10 Toes by Nipsey Hussle. Rest and power, Nipsey.
Mhm.
I love that song so much, not only because he's from LA, I'm from LA, not only because I love his voice and the song and whoop de whoop de whoop, but because it just so happens that song, every single line of that song, I can rap along with it, and it's talking about my own life. Even when he goes, um, what does he say? He said like, "I'm on the yacht with Nico," or whatever. Oh, on the road with Nico, right? I even could say I'm on the road with Nico. I know a dancer named Nico, and I have pictures of us on the road together. So when every time I come across that line, I fucking holler, "I'm on the road with Nico!" Ah! Because it's my song. I own it now. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, and you know what? Like
and I feel like that about the crypto rap. So I'm sorry. I just had to,
okay.
I'm a beat simp. I had to simp on the crypto beats just real
No,
quick.
listen. Like I understand that, and this is how I kind of see it, right? And granted, this might not be like the tightest analogy, but as much as I love the like the gangster shit, right? And I've got the right to spit like how I spit and everything too. Like I've earned it on many fronts, but with drill, I can't get with the drill stuff lyric wise because I feel like they're saying too much and they're just putting so much out there that it's not even like fun. Like the fun of it is being like, like it's like finding Easter eggs, like when you hear somebody saying some shit like again I'm about to quote Flames dot Malik again. He said, "Yo, this is the same shit, just in different color bags." It's like fuck, like ooh, not everybody's gonna really understand what that means, but like for it's like damn, somebody may or may not have said that to me, and I may or may not have said that to other people.
I
you
may
know,
or may not know exactly what you're talking about too.
right? So it's
I
like
do
shit.
know.
But that's the thing about it. But when it's like some like just so overtly like like it feels almost gimmicky is what I think I'm getting at. A lot of the crypto rap to me seems gimmicky, and it seems like some like it's pandering too, and that's why I can't like most of it anyway. Some tracks, like I do love when I hear like a crypto bar and something. I'm like, oh fuck, like homie know what's up, homie know what's up, and to kind of and the one thing that you were saying too about like the appeal of if you got 10 unknowns and one person's rapping about crypto. I don't think that a non-crypto person would gravitate towards that because I feel non-crypto people, they hate that. They hate the shit. They don't want to fuck
No,
with it.
no, they don't. Actually, let me just give you a little, for instance, just a little peek, right? I know that's what we hear a lot, but in my real life, I ask people all the time whenever I get a chance, especially from people from the Midwest. So like, I'm from California, and the laws in California are different. But when I talk to, for example, Minnesota, so I have a lot of family in Minnesota. Shout out Minneapolis! Let's go! Let's go! But I have a lot of family in Minnesota, and when I ask, so my cousin and her husband, they love to invest and stuff, but like in the Midwest, at least, the person I talked to, they were told that it wasn't legal for them to buy Bitcoin. So, right. People are living inside of the people are living inside of the containers that they create for themselves, right? But even though like my some of my friends and family that live in other places, they might think that they can't have it or they can't do it. Uh they were interested. The conversation was, "Oh, I don't think that's legal where I live, but I'm interested." And the feedback that I like when I was talking with my cousin and her hubby, you know, their stance was, I don't think we're allowed to do that, but it's super interesting. Like I personally only hear that other people hate crypto. I actually never have met a person who literally says they don't like it. And I onboard like every Uber driver I've ever had. I always,
I hear
so
you. I've
so
had
what
just
is
the
the
opposite
hate?
experience. Like
Oh,
when I'm
tell me
pushing,
please.
yeah, when I'm like in the NPC groups, I will get a very small sliver of people who will be like, yo, teach me more about this. Talk to me more about this, you know? Um, I had one guy in there being like, yo, just ignore him. Don't like, not he's not talking about NFTs. And then I watched this whole thread start up about, they're saying like, oh, it's stupid, it's this, it's that. And other people like, yeah, it's so dumb. Like, why is he's probably trying to get us to buy something, da 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 da. And I'm like, yo. And now I'm like arguing with all these idiots. But then I had to really just be like, you know what? This is like a fucking MAGA argument right now. No matter what I tell them, they're not going to accept it. They're not going to accept the truth. They're just going to be like, no, no, no. So that's the type of stuff that I've run into, which is why, which is why my stance is what it is. I me being someone who's like, hey, y'all, I'm and this is something that I know every musician struggles with is monetizing their music. That's hard to do. you know and if I'm like, hey guys, I'm monetizing my music this way, and people get mad about that, it's like, I don't think these cats are going to want to listen to me rap about crypto either. You know what I'm
Why are
saying?
they
So,
getting mad about you monetizing in this way? This is really interesting, by the way. And
mhm,
maybe when you respond, you also uh, touch on this. But
mhm.
something interesting. So where this comes from, what I'm about to say is I had an experience earlier in the year that really surprised me, which was a creative partner who I really care about and adore. We had a difference in the way that we saw something, and he seemed to get angry with me for having a different opinion, as opposed to getting curious about why I thought what I thought. Instead, the first, like, he seemed to get pissed. And so I'm reminded of this listening to you, and I wonder, like, in the NPC group, I wonder why someone would hear that you're making money in a way that they hadn't heard of before. Why that doesn't spark curiosity? I would instead go, why? Especially if I thought I was right about something and you were doing something stupid, right?
Yeah,
I would be curious. Why are you doing that, bro? That's so dumb. Like that, not actually how I would say that, but like I'm trying to like be like the devil's advocate. Like even if I thought I was so smart and that you were doing something that totally didn't make sense, my approach would be one of curiosity, even if it was mixed with condescension. It would still overtly be curious. I wouldn't be like, that's dumb, bro. Oh, you know what I mean? So yeah. So what are your insights on that? What's your takeaways and what's with the anger and how do you navigate? How do you transform that energy?
well, I mean, it's hard to transform it. I'll be
Mm,
honest. It's
okay.
really, damn, it's coming down out there. Snowing
You
like
got some
crazy.
snow?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I'm so jealous of your snow.
I'm not.
That's
Ugh. But yeah, like I don't, I honestly, it's hard for me to say, and I think what it might come down to is people are, stuck in their old ways, and they don't like to be challenged on that. They don't, and I think what it might come down to too is that they've been at it that way for so long that it's like, well, you're about to tell me that this shit that I've been doing for the past like 20 years don't work. Like, you're about to tell me that you figured out a way in just a little bit of time. Because I was arguing with this one cat, right? And I had posted something, and so I don't know. I don't know if I showed you that one meme that I made, that finger drummer Halloween costume meme, the Spirit of Halloween finger drummer thing. So that started making its rounds again, right? And people weren't like tagging me in it, and some of my homies who were seeing it in the NPC groups were like, "Yo, like GodCloud, like," because they, not, a lot of my homies don't even know that I made that, so they think that somebody like took my picture and is like trying to clown me and shit, right? But I'm like, no, 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 like I made that because people are like, "Yo, GodCloud, get in here." So I'm like, everybody, I'm the one that made that. Da, 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 da. Like, yo, motherfucker, you tag me in this shit. Give me the credit, Um, so what I did was I've never been in this NPC group before, but I posted the meme and then the original video that I took the picture from, right? And it was like a video when I first got the NPC. I'm still learning, like the like just figuring out how to move the sounds around. I don't even think I knew how to move the sounds around yet. So I just had some stock kit, right? And I'm just like fucking around with it, And the way that I have the drum, the pad set up, I have it set up a specific way so my muscle memory is there. But this one, it's like, all different. So I admit it wasn't like my best performance. It was some shit with stock sounds. It was just like, hey, I got this thing, whatever. And this guy is like, yo, man, this sucks. This ain't it. This is trash. And oh, you got your thing down? Oh, oh.
Sorry, sometimes the button gets like, that is so raw. That's so fucked up.
Right. And I'm like, bro, it's literally like a 43-second video of me fucking around with some stock sounds. Like it's not like I'm staking my whole career on this video right here. So I fired back at him and I'm like, all right, I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. I'm like, keep at it with yours and you might have a career someday. So then he comes back at me saying that he's worked with all these, big time like hip hop artists.
Got his ass. If somebody comes back with names, then you know you got right up their ass.
Yeah, and I was like, well, damn, dude, his name was something like mid something, right? And I'm like, damn, dude, like, okay, all that, but you're still mid, so stay mid, bro. And I was like, dude, I made history with this fucking drum machine, so fuck off. And then he goes, that thing hasn't even been out long enough for you to make history with it, so keep capping. And I'm like, okay, dude. And I'm like, I have, but I'm not going back and forth with you anymore. And that was it right there. The fact that for him, the amount of time that the machine has been out and now isn't enough time to make history says it all.
I mean, this is just a person who is grasping for any reason to discredit your talent, obviously.
Yeah, but I run into people like this a lot though. That's the thing. It's not just him. It's a
Oh,
lot of cats who are who just don't like the fact um that I'm finger drumming, that I can like make the beat like but with my hands, and that's cool to look at. They don't like that I've taken that and now mixed it up with blockchain in a different way that I'm getting paid.
but this is the thing. It's like that I would love for I would love to be I would love to be part of the change of this mindset. Why not like? Why the dislike? Why not instead curiosity? Or you know what I'm saying about "Oh, why are you doing that, man? Or how does that work, brother? Or you know what I mean? Instead of, you know, bah humbug
Yeah.
on that.
No, there's,
So
like
do
I
you
said,
feel
there's
like it's
some
like a type
people.
of professional jealousy or
Yeah,
something?
oh yeah,
Like,
that's exactly what I think it is. I definitely think it's that, like, but I think they might be so used to people in crypto, and I should put up the air quotes when I say that, approaching them with like scams and shit, you know what I mean? And let's be
oh,
honest, a lot of
there's
the
no scams in crypto. Come on,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, no, right, right. Especially not back in the day, there were none. Um, but I think that people were approached with shit like that and thought and saw, they either got burned or saw people get burned, and they were like, oh well, all of this is like this. And also too, I hear people say like, oh well, you can't even cash it out. Like what's he like? My one aunt was like talking to my mom, and she's like, well, what's he doing? Like, why is he putting so much energy into this shit where he can't cash it out? And my mom's like, you see, he's driving like you see, he just got a fucking car. Like that, like you could cash it
He's
out.
cashing
Like
it.
right, it's like shit, you know. But that's a big thing too, because people are like, I just don't understand how you cash it out. I just don't get
Oh,
that, you
I
know.
had a little taste of that too. Yeah, my one of my cousins gave me a hard time. Are we gonna lose you, GodCloud?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I just had to get it. I just had
You
to
just
get it.
broke my heart, my heart.
Uh,
Oh,
I'm here. I'm good.
no, you know what? It's interesting you say that because now you just jogged my memory. I, I last time my cousin came in town. Shout out to my cousin Chucky. What's up? He gave me a hard time. He was like, I mean, like, can you use crypto to like pay for lunch? I'm like, yes. He's like, why don't you pay for this lunch right now? I'm like, oh, you just want me to pay for lunch. You
Lunch,
didn't really,
right?
you didn't have any questions about crypto. You thought I didn't pick up on that, huh, Chucky? Huh?
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Huh? But yeah, there's people have questions, but you know, curiosity though, instead of the salt. So God Cloud, how do you navigate the salt? And I still am really kind of surprised about the hate that you got in the NPC group because for anyone who doesn't know, NPC we're talking about musical instruments that are at the forefront. Here we go. Boom. I've got a couple over here I could pull out, but there's one. So, this is a particular company, a brand, and they have like groups, And so, electronic musicians in general are electronic musicians are like the crypto people of the music industry. Okay?
Yeah, for
And
real though.
so literally. And so now there is people that's way more advanced even than the NPC people. What are those what's the name of this machine? Oh my God. I met the founder too, but it's like these instruments where it's just a bunch of chords and you just move the wires around like this to make the different frequency sounds. Like,
Oh,
you know what I'm
the
talking about.
Moogs, or they. I mean, Moog has that, but that's just
Moog is a
like
brand though, but
TV synth type stuff.
yeah, exactly. So like I'm saying like that is like the most experimental like when I go to NAM, like that's the kind of stuff that like I like to play with. And so my point is like electronic musicians of any ilk are usually the most forward thinking people. So I'm just kind of shocked that here's GodCloud in this group of you would think forward thinking musicians because it's an NPC group and then you're still getting this kind of lizard brain backlash like where it's 1986 and you showed up with the synthesizer.
No, and that's what I say too. It's just so funny how like I've had people say, "Dude, why don't you just learn to compose a beat instead of finger drumming?"
You don't
I'm like,
compose beats.
I'm
What did you
like,
tell them?
oh, I
Compose a beat.
yeah, I was like,
How do you
dude,
even put that in the same sentence?
yeah, and
Compose
I
a
was
beat.
so, I was like, bro, I'm making it live. Like, I'm actually doing like live flips that aren't even in the same tempo that the samples are in. I'm like,
Bro, I'm making it live.
right,
Fucking
right.
dying right now.
I was so just taken aback by it, and oh shit. And for people to be thinking like that, and then when they start hearing the crypto stuff too, it all just kind of makes sense. And like I'm gonna shout out my pops here because he was in that boat for a while too with the
Compose
thing
a beat.
with the what's that?
Compose a beat.
No, well, I wouldn't say he was saying stuff like that, but he just didn't like the new stuff. He didn't believe in the new NPCs. He thought that the old ones were better and all this and that. And I'm like, yo, man, like, how are you? I'm I'm like, listen, I came up on those machines. Like, I love the 2000, the 3000 because that's what my dad had. That's what I grew up on. That's what I cut my teeth on.
That's the first
But
one I ever pounded on.
nice, nice.
Shout out
But
to Jeremy from Paris, the first musician who let me play, gave me a few hours with his fancy machine. Jeremy.
Yeah, and that, but I understand enough to be like, this new one is way better. The Live 2, it shits on all those old machines, Like, fuck, like, come on, like, even like, let's just be fucking for real here. Um, and it took him a minute to be like, okay, like, damn, you're right. Now he's got all the new shit. Now he gets it. Now he's like, oh, okay, like, you're right. Like, damn, it was so much. I would have to do so much stuff before. Now with the one machine, I can do a lot. Um, but it's just people wanting to be right. It's people being like, damn, like I said before, like, I've been doing it this way for so long. Who the fuck are you to tell me that you're having success with doing something that I never even thought of? And like you said, it's the best way to go about it would to be like, damn, well, can you teach me? How's that going? Like, can you show me what's up? Because I love it when I get those messages. Like, I just made a new homie. Um, he hit me up in the back channels and was like, yo, bro, I saw you mention something about, driving in your car and making money. He's like, wait, how does that work? I'm like, oh, and I onboarded him. I onboarded him,
I
and
know what this is about vulnerability. That guy was confident in himself and he was man enough to reach out to you and ask for help. He literally that he's just like, I want to learn, and that's what it is. He didn't mind being vulnerable with you.
yeah, that's it. That's it. You said it, and yeah, you put it, so, like, to point, like, and I think that a lot of these older cats, even though I'm like shit, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm like a young older dude. Like, I
You're
don't present gate. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know, because I started doing drugs young and my brain is just stuck in, like, at like like 15, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not trying to be some, like, tough guy. I don't give a shit. If I don't get something, I'm gonna be like, yo, whoa, that's fucking fresh. How are you doing that? Like, I will ask, like, hey, what's up? But I think that a lot of these older cats who were shitting on dudes wearing skinny jeans, they are
Oof.
also, the same people who are like, fuck crypto, fuck this NFT shit. Because I had people ask me, like, dude, who are you? I never heard of you, but it seems like people know who you are. Like, what are you doing? What have you done? And they weren't even asking, like, in like a mean way. They were just, curious. And I broke it down to one guy, and other people started seeing that, and they were like, damn, like, we didn't, like, wow, okay. They're like, well, welcome to the group. Nice to meet you. Good thing, like, good for you that you're doing what you're doing. And that was cool to see. But still, some people are like, fuck this guy.
You
And that,
know.
oh, sorry, go. What's up? What's up? What's up?
No, I was just saying no.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's it. I'm like, dude, I'm chill as shit. Like, as long as you don't get on my bad side, I'm cool as fuck.
You're
But
amazing. Like even like without talking to you, I remember like the first time that I actually ever was exposed to you was actually on audio spaces. But the first time I laid eyes on you, even from a distance, I knew who you were.
oh
But
yeah,
even from a distance, it was at Art Basel the year before last. I knew who you were,
yeah,
but even from a distance, you're absolutely approachable. Even as tall as you are, like from a distance, you're approachable and like you look like a person that it's okay to say hi to. So I feel like there's nothing in your presentation. It's other people don't feel comfortable being vulnerable. I think age has a lot to do with it, like the era in which you were raised, like, and I think personal culture has a lot to do with it. Like if you come from a family where you were treated like you were stupid if you didn't know something, right? Or where you were ridiculed for not knowing the answer to something, like all of these kind of things, I think really plays a role in how comfortable people are asking for help. I might even be guilty myself. Uh, Here's case in point. Before, so a few weeks ago, for friends who don't know, GodCloud and I have a friend, Kane Mayfield, that came and shared like some rap and whatever we were talking. But before that, before we did that episode, I actually had a personal video call with Kane. and we were talking, and as far as all the different chains where art is living, right? Ethereum blockchain, Shape blockchain, go I could go on and on, right? The one that's the most new for me as far as putting my art on there is Bitcoin. I do have my art on Bitcoin, but I don't have a lot on there. And as a whole, the network and the ecosystems are new to me. The platforms are new to me, the groups where people talk and share and stuff, all that is pretty new. I still feel like an outsider, even though I've been here for a few years now. And it was really Kane that brought my attention to even I was not being candid with my vulnerability. I didn't even realize I was doing it because, first of all, anyone who I'm on a video call with, I consider a friend of mine, right? So it's not like I was trying to be hard for Kane, who I consider a pal, right? But he pointed out to me because, like, I had all these questions, and he just said, "Oh, Maximilian," he goes, "You're not really coming out and saying it, but you need help understanding what to do in this area." And he just said it just like that. And I was like, "You're right. I need help. Will you help me?" And, you know, it was him telling me because, of course, I'm not above saying, "Friend, you seem to have a good beat on this. Can you help me?" I've asked for help many times. I'll be the first one to explain that I don't know something or to say, whatever. But I didn't even realize that I didn't properly ask for help. And
Mhm.
really, I could have simplified everything by just saying, "Yo, I don't know any of this shit. Can you help me understand?" But even I didn't realize that I was pussyfooting around my own vulnerability.
Damn. Yeah, that's something that it takes a lot of self-awareness to say that. Like I like me, I know that like sometimes I just don't get something. Like you could be like how when somebody's like saying something to you and you're just kind of
Yes,
like
like last week when I was telling you how I got friend zoned and how it sucked, and you were like, "I don't get it." And I was like, "Bro, it sucked." And you were like, "I can't understand." I was like, "Bro, it sucks. It hurts. Ah, my heart. Fuck. Oh, I'm a friend zone. It fucking sucks, bro. Ah." And you were like, "Well, I don't really understand."
yes, that yeah, exactly, like and that's like I get that with a lot of shit. Like I remember in wrestling one time, like they were like showing me something, and I'm like I don't get it. I'm like Colin, I don't understand. And Colin, he was one of my trainers. He worked in WWE. You can see him getting beat up by like Undertaker and all the other top stars and
Oh,
shit.
I want to see that.
Um, but yeah, he was yeah. But he was trying to show me something, and he's like, "What don't you get?" And I'm like, "None of it." I'm like, "Show me again." And then he's like, "Do that," and I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "Show me again." He's like, "Do this." I'm like, "It's like no," and I'm like, "I just can't compute." So I having to learn how to wrestle really showed me where like my gaps in like teaching myself, or where the gaps in teaching myself are, and bringing that over to anywhere else. I'm like, okay, my brain's not working, and like I can't figure this out. Like, what's up? So, yeah, like it took me a while to get there to just be like, I don't fucking get it. But some people would rather fucking die than be like, I don't understand. Can you help me out? So to go back to our initial conversation about like people doing kind of like a blind or a cold taste testing on crypto music or crypto rappers. That I've encountered that hostile mentality more so than a curious mentality. So that's why
Damn.
I'm saying, or I feel anyway, that if a rapper, if a musician wasn't doing Dick Nada before, and
Dick
now they're
Nada. That sounds like a token.
yeah,
You get the
right.
Dick
Oh,
Nada token?
yo, oh my God, here we go,
What's the
here we go.
contract address? How
Wait
many
for it.
dick
Yep,
nadas did
just
you
wait
get?
for it. Let me get him the running shoes. Here you go,
Let me go
whoever.
trademark it. Dick nada.
Yeah, right. Fuck. Like, I'm going broke trademarking it.
You, me, and Dame Dash. Let's go.
No, for real. But yeah. So if somebody, even if they're making great music, but if they're coming from straight up just crypto, they've just
Nada.
been putting out music in the crypto space. I don't think that pop is going to translate over into the real world, because even if you look at all the people who are branching out or who have been featured or whatever, they had shit going on prior to crypto, so yeah, so that's the whole thing about to bring all that back to that
Damn.
to touch on. And yeah, and to answer that big question of so I think we kind of went off on a few different tangents, but if you want to um get more involved and be more present, then it's really that simple of just showing up and bringing, how can I put this, and strategically adding value to the space, because you can just kind of rifle off ideas and like hold space for people and this and that, but if you're not doing it in a way that's like strategic, so you're stacking all this value up to accomplish something, then it really is, it's not going to be as effective. So yeah, ultimately, to answer that question of how are we going to be more present and do that effectively, is to figure out how we're going to strategically add value to the space and just keep on delivering on that. I think that will, you know, that'll, how do I say this? I think that'll make our time more worthwhile for everybody. And that's what's going to keep us engaged in being around. 'Cause think about it. Why, if you're missing stuff, if you're like not catching everything, it's because something else has your attention, right?
But not necessarily something relevant. It could just be a space where there was nothing where I could have been present. I could have been a part of it if I had known.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, like for friends who are, listening, and we're talking about our off-channel conversation, which sparked this question that I proposed, which is how can I improve in 2025? How can I show up? How can I be more present? And I was pointing out that there's not that many um, on-chain musicians. There's not that many musicians on blockchain, and I feel like it's a great tragedy when I discover too late or not at all until the event has passed that some on-chain musician had an X space or a concert or a panel, and I wasn't invited. And I hate when that happens because there's only 6 of us in this motherfucker, okay? So, like, invite everybody all the time. And look, if you would like to hurt my feelings, please go ahead and do your event and don't invite me. I'll remember always. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, everyone who's cool wants to support you. And one thing I learned from my mentors in Hollywood is the more famous your friends are, the more they need personal invitations to show up. Absolutely do not post your event on Twitter and figure that your friends will see it and come to your event. That's not actually inviting anyone. That's just you posting a tweet. It's not the same as an invitation. If you want me to come to your event, you need to call me, text me, or send me a message. Do not tag me on the day of your event and expect me to show up. That's not how this works.
Yeah. No, yeah. And that, and what, so how I'm seeing all that is either, shit, I'm trying to say it without saying it.
Oh, We need the AI. We need that GodCloud AI. You say what you mean, and then the AI is gonna like sanitize it and
Yeah,
repurpose it and make it
yeah,
sound nice.
yeah. Like I don't know. Like I think
We need
so.
Ongo to
Like two things. Part of me is kind of thinking that because I feel like this sometimes. I feel like sometimes I bug people a lot. Like I'll be like, "Hey, I'm doing a lot of stuff," and um, I don't want people to mute me because I'm asking them to come to too many things or whatever.
But
Um,
but you mean like as a in a personal one-on-one message? I mean, like you don't mute like a person, like an individual reach out from you saying, "Hey Charlie, hey Sam, hey Jack, hey Joey, at 5 o'clock today I'm doing X, or next week I'd love to see you, man. It's been a minute." You're telling me like personal messages like that you feel are too much? Because it
because
seems like a nice like from you.
I'm doing a lot all the time, and I feel when I have 3 spaces a week, I have to kind of watch who I'm inviting all the time, because I don't want, because yeah, I feel like yeah, that can get annoying if I'm like all the time being like, yo, I got a space Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and every time I'm like, hey, come through, come through, come through, come through,
But if it's
But
a
that,
person who's aligned, they would want to be there, no?
yeah, yeah, but even still, I think that there's a limit. I think that there's a limit, even still. Like, so peep it, right? Like I don't necessarily like tell you all the time when I'm doing space because
I
you know
try
what I
not to
mean.
take it personally, but my feelings are actually pretty hurt. No, I'm kidding.
I was about
God
to say
Cloud,
what?
but you know why? You know why? But God Cloud, I actually put your spaces on my calendar, and I think I told you, and I finally fixed it so I get a reminder. But I did this because you kept having spaces and I kept missing them, and I felt like a bad friend. I'm not even gonna lie to you. No cap, bro. I was like, Maxximillian, God Cloud does these fucking spaces, bitch. You're never there. Why? Pause. You know what I mean? And it was not most of the time for a good reason. Now sometimes it's true I have meetings and stuff like that, but most of the time in the early times it's because I didn't know when your spaces was happening. You can never tell me too many spaces. Now if you're doing a space on something that's not in alignment with like me or my brand, I probably wouldn't want to come. Like if you were doing a space on like raising your kids or something like that, oh childless Maximilian, I'm not gonna come and sit in the audience with my ice cream and my fucking tissues. But if you're inviting me to a fucking music space, even if you had a space every day, if I'm a musician and you're inviting me, I just want to give you this feedback, God Cloud. Like if it's
Okay,
aligned, I don't think that you can't invite. If it's aligned, I'm gonna always feel like you're thinking of me.
okay. Because as I'll be honest, like sometimes I even be like this is like like if people sending me invites and shit, like I don't know, maybe I'm an asshole.
Oh, you're saying you get annoyed when people send you
But
invitations.
but so how
Oh,
I
right.
like gauge things is like, yo, if I'm getting feeling some way about it, then other people must feel that same way too. So, but this is
Mm.
just one of the points. This is one of the points. This is like this could be not it at all, but it's like, hey, I feel that but even but okay, so that's one point. But then that kind of gets thrown out the window when somebody's like, "Hey, can't talk right now," but then they're talking at the thing when they're like, "Oh yeah, I can't do this," but then they're doing the thing, and then
What do
it's
you
like,
mean? Tell me, can you extrapolate a little? When you say can't talk, but they're talking at the thing, you mean like,
if I tell you that I'm like shit, like if I tell you like, "Yo, I can't." If you're like, "Hey, I'm having a party, you want to come through?" and I'm like, "Oh nah, I broke my leg, I can't make it."
oh, and then you're at
But
some other bitch party?
yes, right. And
No.
I'm doing the stanky leg with the broke leg, just showing like, yeah, this shit broke, but look it, I can still wiggle with this bitch. Like, hey, 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 that's some whole other shit. And
That
um,
happens.
yeah, but again, like I'm like, hey, do whatever you want, like because I know what I'm doing and what I'm building is fucking fire. I know that I'm adding value, and I don't necessarily, even though I hear what you're saying, because it's kind of like, damn, well, why, like, why not me? But I'm like, you know what? I don't need that. If I'm not, if it didn't happen, then it wasn't meant to fucking happen. Because there's been times too where I'm like, fuck, I feel like I missed an opportunity, but that happened for some other shit to happen. So I'm like, all right, like I said, I'm just gonna keep bringing value like I'm doing, and do it in my way, because I know that I'm influencing what's around me, and it's taking me somewhere that's gonna be even brighter than whatever the fuck I didn't get invited to, or whatever. Um, and I know it's kind of tricky when it's like, damn, well, all the homies are over there. But
Yeah.
again, this is what fueled me to do what I'm doing in Web3 from the jump, because were, all of my homies kind of went and did something and just kind of left me off of the wayside. I was feeling really fucked up about it.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry,
once
GodCloud. That happened to me too. And there's the worst, it's literally the worst feeling in the world, especially, and I don't know if it was true in your case, you tell me, but especially when you actually reached out to those same people trying to plan something, and then everyone said no, 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 and then they all went and did it and didn't include you.
Yeah, what happened was I was trying to just get brought up to speed on some shit. Like, so
Hmm.
I'm like, what's where are we at? Everybody's kind of like laughing at me and this shit, that shit, and you know, and and I told you this story. I'm not saying the names this time,
Uh-huh.
but like when one of the people was like, "Oh, I never thought that you'd get famous and then like diss me or some shit or ghost me," and I'm like, "Motherfucker,
Oh,
like you ghosted me for Clubhouse clout." So fuck you,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like that was just something shocking to hear. But that is what, ultimately inspired me to, again, like I said, start figuring out how I could strategically add value. Like when I
Yeah.
felt like I got, kind of shut out, or they wanted to make me feel like I missed the boat, I started doing my own thing. And me doing my own thing is what led me to essentially be here working with George Lopez and shit. If that wouldn't have happened, if I would have been with them, I probably wouldn't have been in the position to be in George's proximity like I was, because it wouldn't have come to me, in that way. It just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been standing out to that effect,
Right.
because I would have been part of a bigger collective that, where, let's be honest, the organizers were the people who were getting all the
That's
kudos.
right.
Yeah, they were getting all the credit. Um, and yeah, some people did break out from it and are doing well, but honestly, I can only name like one person from that whole thing who is, like, still operating. And I mean, like, from my crew, from that original crew of us, who then went and joined that thing. I can only think of one person who's still in Web3 and is, operating at a high level. Um, but I think about that shit all the time. Like, fuck, if I would have been a part of that, none of this shit would have come my way. I wouldn't have done the thing with 808 Wave, where we did the big Web3 music conference on Clubhouse, where we did like fucking 36 hours of interviews with Web3, like platform founders, fucking Web3 musicians. Um, who else is like other influencers and shit. And I really think about that shit a lot, because we did ask them for help on it too. I remember we were like, shit, we need 36 guests to cover 12 hours for each day. and I got all my 18 guests on my own. I didn't have to ask anybody to, help me get these people. I figured that shit out on my own, and I got them, for all mine. I got them there. And again, that wouldn't have been. I tried to think of like what my place would have been if fucking, if I was part of NFTS.tips and did that. I would have probably been wrangling the
Nah.
talent, but it would have been Alex and Eric probably interviewing everybody. We
Yeah.
would have, it would have probably been the mods in the chat or whatever. But the fact that when me and Abi put that conference together, it would just be him, me, and our guests having a conversation. That was my shit, you know. It wasn't. I mean, well, I mean, me and Abi worked on that together, obviously. But if I would have been, with the old crew and NFT Tips, probably wouldn't have done that. Probably wouldn't have done that. Probably wouldn't have been the one who produced the music for George Lopez's project. You know, um, probably wouldn't have been there and that was the biggest room of Clubhouse that year when we had George come on. That was the biggest room of Clubhouse that year that I was part of putting together. I wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I would have been included in the crew, I would have missed out on all that. I would have missed out on all of that. So I don't get
This
mad when I don't get invited.
that's like the most perfect example of uh I know. May not get what you want, but you get what you need. Huh.
Mm, yeah,
It's
right. Ain't it
interesting,
though?
right? Because and it's just like you said, if you had been where you wanted, you couldn't have been standing where you needed to be seen and have that opportunity. But it felt like shit at the time, didn't it?
Yeah, I still remember. I still remember being at the Walmart in the baby section and hitting up one of the homies. Fuck it, I'm just fuck it. I'm not. I don't even got time to be fucking trying to like filter this shit. But I remember hitting up Matt, who was like my fucking brother, being like, "Yo, man, like, hey, can you show me how to like so you put something on foundation? Like how?" I'm like, I heard gas is expensive. I got like $200. So what's up? And he just typed back, LOL. And I'm like,
That's like a fuck you.
yeah, for real, right? And I'm like, bro, I'm like, so what's up? I'm like, I want to mint something, like, what's up? And I'm like, is that like what like can I do this with this? Because I was still trying to figure out what was going on. And he just never really responded.
That is so shitty.
Yeah. And then like a little bit after that, I remember he was like, hey, he posted in a Telegram group that we were all in. He was like, hey, I got a foundation invite. And I hit him up. I texted him. It's like, I have his number. Because we knew each other before all this shit. And I'm like, hey, bro, what's up with that foundation invite? He's like, oh, it's gone. And then I went back and screenshotted when he posted it. And I sent that to him. I'm like, so you're telling me that in the 45 seconds that you posted this, someone has already messaged you and
Faster than
procured it
you.
from you? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, say no more, bro. I get it. And that, but it was funny that he still came back and said, I can't believe that you got famous and
Oh,
ghosted me.
that's the person.
Yeah. Right? Is that shit crazy? So again,
Ah.
and we buried the hatchet now. I talked to him and, we straightened everything up and,
Dude, if I was
like,
you, I Oh God, I don't know. You're better than me, GodCloud. I don't know if I might want to message and be like, dude, you still got that foundation invite?
But no, maybe
I'm
because
such a
listen,
troll. I'm the worst troll, especially like if we're friends and you did something mean to me, I'll probably still tease you about it for a little while.
yeah, like we ended up having it out, and I don't know, you know me, like I'm not afraid of the smoke, like, 'cause he hit me up one day and was like, yo, like what's up, like
And were you like,
whatever.
bro, what's up with that foundation invite?
I laid it all out, bro. I was like, bro, like listen, man, like dude, we were cool. We'd known each other for years before any of this NFT shit. And then when we get in here, like, this is how you do me, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, this is why I'm not fucking with you. This is what happened. You did X, Y, and Z, and I'll and like, fuck that, fuck you. And then he was like, damn, man. He's like, I didn't know you felt that way. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I didn't, I don't want to get into a personal conversation, but we broke it down and we're like, all right, like, all right, bro, straight, cool, but yeah, strategically stack your value and
With people who share back though, because that's the fucking key. Because let me tell you something. I was stacking value like a motherfucker last year. I stacked so much value, but guess what? I was stacking it on somebody else's tray.
yeah, and don't do that. That's and that's tricky
They
to.
said that it was our tray, but actually, they had a tray underneath the tray that was ours that they considered to be just their tray. And so when they took their tray, it just so happened that our tray that had all of my stacks also went away.
Yeah, so yeah, so this is what we were talking about before. Like, we got to be out loud about what we're. Hold on, let me go turn the light on. It's
I
dark
didn't
in
want to
here.
say anything, but
I can't even put
I'm
myself.
like, I can only see the whites of your eyes. Oh, it gets dark over there. It gets dark over there with all that snow.
Yeah, it's fucking pitch black out here. There we go. But
Yeah.
no, like, and that's what I'm saying. We got to be out about what we're doing. Like, prime example of what, um, like, I came up with the name for Mob, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't need anybody to be like, every time we mention it to be like, oh yeah, GodCloud, came up with it or whatever. But there's been a lot of things in Web3, like groups that I've came up with the name for, like the old, or the like one of the first, uh, which actually is like the original Mob, but Shark Tank. That was our crew with Commander Crypto, myself, Scott Fu, um, a lot of the people who would go on to be, to be thought leaders in this space. I came up with a name for that with Shark Tank, and I'm sure that the group chat is still, still here on Twitter somewhere.
Sure,
Uh,
someone's in there trying to delete it right now.
yeah, you can go screenshot that shit. But I came up with the name for that.
Yeah.
Like, I came up with the name for that, and even now there's another thing where we're trying to figure out a name, and I came up with a name for that. Like, I just got like a brain like that. And generally I would just kind of, like, the satisfaction would come with everybody saying it and me not making it known that I'm the one who came up with it. But now I'm like, fuck that, because I'm not. That's not helping prove my value. Granted, yes, I've added this value, but what's the proof that I added it?
You need
That's
accredited. It has to be accredited. That's the word that you're looking for.
yeah,
Accredited. Just like on a fucking album. This is so, so super important. And for anyone out there that's listening, accredited. Friends, accredited. And I know it's messed up too, GodCloud, because it's like, how many of those times that you worked on a project were you friends with the people, but then suddenly you weren't accredited?
yeah, a lot. So yeah, so much, and I feel that what led to me getting disenfranchised and going somewhere else was because I wasn't pushing that hard. Like, I tell you what still burns me up to this fucking day, that my name was left off of projects when I was the one, when the person whose name was on the project, I was the one feeding them the ideas, you know, like
Oh,
everything.
that happened
Yeah.
too. Hate
You know,
that.
and it's on one of my trophies here. You know what I mean? It's on, something that I look at like every day. I'm like, damn, man, like, and even other people on the project, like, yo, bro, like, we didn't know anything about NFTs. That's why we got you. Like, we didn't know shit about NFTs. That's why we got you. And seeing my Rolodex being used for their furtherance. But when I'm like, hey, can I get my name on this shit? Because you're talking to all of my people here. I put you in contact with all these people with the notion to do X, Y, and Z. So how am I not? How is my name not on this?
I know how, because they got the pussy before you got the biscuit.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's like
And
Cyrano type shit, Cyrano de Bergerac type shit.
unpack that, GodCloud. Unpack that, Cyrano. What you talking about?
Yeah, so it's like I'm in the bushes feeding homeboy the lines, like, yo, tell her that her ass mad fat, yo. Okay. Yo ass mad fat. And she's like, oh, you're so sweet. That's that's what happened, but with like Web3 shit, you know?
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, so like getting accredited. So GodCloud, how do we move from being the friend who, I'm gonna say some words that's gonna make you throw up on your shoes right now. Are you ready?
No,
Get the
no.
bag ready. Get the bag ready. I just want to pick your brain.
Oh God, no. Don't do that to me.
Yo, I get a lot of pick your brain conversation having quite
Mhm.
requests, and I can't do them anymore.
No.
But that's what we're really talking about, right? Like how do we move, how do we go from being the person that people call to pick your brain? So like how do you transmute? What spell do you use to transmute pick your brain into sounding something more like, "Hey, GodCloud. Hey, Maxximillian. Uh, we'd like to bring you into this project as a valued partner to help us as we're starting off." How do we change the conversation before it even begins from pick your brain to bring me in on your project? Because when people want to pick my brain, they already have decided that I can provide value, or else they wouldn't
Yeah.
be asking to speak to me in the first place. I do
Right.
understand that. So to me, when people say pick your brain, all I hear is, "Oh, hi. I just want to know how we can like get all of your ideas and everything that you've worked really hard to learn and not pay you for it and not give you any accreditation." Like that's really um, what I hear. And because that's what it really turns out to be. And um, I'm not saying that people mean any harm by it, but they don't mean any help by it either,
No,
you
yeah. And
know?
no, it is. They're just trying to get a free consultation out of you, essentially. And that's where
And
you
to
direct.
me, that's not
They
how to
can
treat
pay
a
for the
friend.
consultation. No,
Yeah, that's not how to treat a friend at all.
and not even a friend of someone who you're, essentially looking to do some business with, whether it's, um, no matter what level it's at. It's like I would never hit up another, like, a finger drummer that I respect and be like, hey, yo, let me pick your brain on some on some finger drumming techniques. No, I'm like, hey, how much for your time? How much for an hour of your time? What's the rate? And I tell you this, like, I had somebody recently hit me up. They're like, hey, I just got your sample pack. How would I use it in drum and bass? They're like, what? How would I go about like putting the patterns together and mixing it in with? And they like describe this whole thing like, well, I've got these pads, right, right. They're like, I got these pads that are like this, and I want the drums to like. I think the pads are a little too loud, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like you're asking for arranging and mixing,
And mastering and
right, yeah. And I just hit him back like, hey, that's like, first off, thanks for grabbing the pack, but that's a bit more than I can, that I have time to discuss here. But if you want to book some time, we can talk about this. That's how I do it. That's what I do, and
that's
I let
amazing.
people know, like, I'm not the one to hit up for no free shit. Like, I've proven my ideas work. I've proven it time and time again that GodCloud, if GodCloud is dropping some knowledge on you, it's going to be helpful. It's just a fucking fact. Like, there's a track record that I have of it. You can't deny it. You just can't.
Even
Like,
if it's not track record related, like if you're asked to come in and consult on something that's new, right? And you can't show a track record, I look at it like your time is valuable, and that's time that you're spending investing in their project that you're not investing in your own project or some other thing that matters to you. So I think it's a really, I think it's an important discernment.
yeah, absolutely. Because once I kind of, once I started really putting my foot down and saying, like, listen, like, no, I need to be paid. That's when I got replaced, with that agency that I was working with prior.
And
Like,
that hurts. How do how did you feel when that happened? Were you pissed or were you confused or something totally different?
little, all three. all,
You felt like how you felt like
yeah, but
why?
I knew, again, like, I knew that my track record was still there, and that's what kind of got me to bypass that person who was trying to keep me down, or keep me in the corner, essentially. And I was still able to get the relationship that you know I felt that I deserved to have, and whatever. um because basically what was happening was, and I'm not going to say homeboy's name, but homeboy wanted to keep me, like, kind of in his back pocket to
He,
consult.
he was
To
doing like how Puff Daddy didn't let Mace do nothing. Just
Yeah,
keeping Mace all for himself.
right, and it was so much shit happening, like, where he would get, like, be like, oh well, and this happened too, and I brought my guys on too. But he'd be like, oh, what project are you working on, or who you do, what are you doing, whatever, who are you doing that with? Oh, I'm doing this with so and so. I wouldn't do that. That's not gonna, like, why would you do that? Just shit like that. Like, oh, well, you think that's gonna make any money? Yeah, just shit like that. And I'm like, listen, man, like, I'm doing it. Like, so what? Like, what? Like, what? Like,
It's like he
why?
just wanted to know what you were doing so he could shit on it, make you
Yeah,
feel like you
yeah,
shouldn't do it. It's the
yeah,
worst.
yeah. But it was like, I never forget when I did the thing with, and granted, I didn't even meet this one guy through him. I met him through, I guess, the guy who, and again, I don't want to say names here because I'm just gonna put it all out there. But this guy was like, I want to do a project for this guy. And he gets me to help do the project. So this guy introduces me to one of his partners. And that guy was like, hey, let's work, let's do something.
Yeah.
So when we were coming out with our own project, somebody called the other guy.
Guy B.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
And
Hold on,
was
hold on,
like,
hold on.
God Cloud and God C are doing a project.
Yeah. And he was like, what? And then he shows up to our space and was like, what's going on here? He showed
He
up to our
just
drop
showed up to
room.
the studio like Michael Jackson just showing up at Pharrell's session. What?
Yeah, yeah. He showed up to our space and was like, what's going on here? And my guy who I just did the project with, he was like, "Yo, who the fuck was that?" And I'm like, "That's dude." And he was like, "No way." He's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes, man." I'm like, "This is what's been going on." Like, he's been trying to, keep me from being in the loop. But once he saw that he couldn't control me and keep me in the loop, that was it. You know, I
It's
got replaced.
really crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's so crazy to me because your personality, you're not the type of person that, first of all, that can be contained ever. But also you're extremely generous and, like you're highly shareable. I think it's just the mentality of certain people. Uh, and it's not exactly a hater. It's that plus. It's like hater plus. It's like because they see your talent and they want to benefit from your talent, but they don't want you to fully benefit from your talent.
It's exploitation. That's what it is. They want to, and that's what I said. I was like, "Yo, man, like, why is it that you're okay with using all of my friends and contacts to do stuff, but if I talk to somebody who's even in the proximity of somebody you want to have a talk with me about that?" Saying that because that's what happened too. He was like, "Hey, like if I did that with one of your guys, you would be upset about that." And I'm like, "One of your guys?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "But you don't think that you did that with all these other people who I brought to the table who you now are building things with that I don't
Mm,
have a thing in? Like, you have my name as an Easter egg in a project, and
because there's a double standard always
oh
in
yeah,
terms like this. Even I mean, like it happened to me too, where like I had a friend, someone who I considered a friend, right? Someone who I absolutely adored and fully trusted and everything. And he totally approached me with something that he wanted to do that wasn't really the thing to do. And I thought to myself, I genuinely felt like this person was taking advantage of my friendship, taking advantage of the close relationship that he had with me, um, suggesting, this 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 thing he wanted to do. Um, and I feel like that happens when people sometimes get close to you, and if there's some type of, I know this is going to sound really weird, but it's almost like if someone gets close to you, but maybe there's like some type of feelings that they have that they haven't, that's not out in the open, somehow this seems to be this resentment that gets built up and it comes out in people not respecting boundaries. I don't know if this is resonating with
yeah.
with
No,
you.
I think I hear what you're saying. Where like they feel some kind of way. So in them feeling some kind of way, they feel like you that they kind of step on you
Yeah,
a little bit.
they own you and everything you have is theirs too. Like
Yeah,
when I was growing up, my mom said this. She still says it sometimes. It always makes me giggle, but she would always say, "What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine too." Right? And it's supposed to be what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. And that's how, I like to operate like on that basis. But then for other people, it's like they feel like your contacts they can also access, but they're keeping their contacts close to the vest. And
yeah.
I've experienced that many times. And I tell you, people, when you do that kind of stuff, it makes me feel like you're not my friend. And I already have a really hard time trusting people. It's extremely difficult for me to make myself vulnerable. So if I've made myself vulnerable with you, and then you repay that vulnerability by breaking my trust, game over. I'm just not ever going to go back there. It's really hard. And people do it all the time when people have double standards, that's like also a way of creating an unsafe space because you know it's supposed to be what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. And when people present that kind of friendship to us, which is really what we're talking about, they presented this thing like we're partners. It's presented like we're doing this together, like this, but then actually it's not that because it doesn't go both ways. And when it's like that, it does not feel good to me. It feels like I'm being used and it makes me feel very foolish. And there's nothing worse to me than being made to feel a fool.
Yeah, for real. Right. Because then now it shows that you don't give a fuck about me.
Right. And also, either you think I'm stupid or you
Yeah.
think I'm too pussy to say something about this bullshit that you're trying to pull right now.
Right. And that's,
Yeah, I said pussy. Everyone's like, oh my God, Maximilian, your language.
hey, welcome to the real world, y'all. No, and that's something that in Web3 that I'm not, like again, not like I'm trying to be some tough guy or whatever, but I'm like, yo, no,
I'm
like
trying to be a tough guy, okay?
put some fucking respect on my name. Here we go. Hey, kiddo. Now here comes the
Here
big
comes
part.
the respect.
Yeah, like what's up, little?
I got mermaid.
You got mermaids? Oh. Say hi.
What's up, young rock star?
Someone gave her a gift, Daddy.
Oh, you got a gift? Oh. Well, all right. You know what's about to happen now, so.
It's time. It's time. It's that
Yeah.
time. Well, it's always good to see you both.
Say hi. There's people watching. You're pretty much on TV. Want to sing a song? Can you take Pappy out? Oh, careful! Don't knock over Daddy's stuff.
She just gave
Okay.
us one. We get half a bar. That
Yep.
half a bar. I'll
Hey,
treasure that half bar.
I love it. She knows. Like, hey, you want to see the full show? Yeah.
She already knows.
Yeah. Like, we ain't
Can't
singing
put the
for
full
real.
song on Spotify.
Yep. Here. Daddy's almost done. Daddy's almost done. Daddy's gonna be done.
Can't open it.
Okay. Here. I gotta open some Play-Doh. Here you go. Here you go, little.
What
But all
color is
right.
it?
It's
What color
white
was?
Play-Doh.
Was it glow in the dark white?
No, just regular Play-Doh, white Play-Doh. It
Oh.
came with like some food or something. I think it's like a kitchen set type thing. She make pizza and type shit. I
Oh, okay.
think. I think. Or no. It came with her. Oh, you know what it is? It's from her Barbie doctor kit. So you can take the Play-Doh and you put it around their arms, and it comes with a little cast mold. It's like two sides where you push it on the arm or the leg or whatever.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's pretty neat, and it came with like a little circular saw too to like cut
Oh
some stuff off.
my God.
I'm like, yo, this is fire, but yeah.
That is fucking fire, yo. I
Hmm.
miss that stuff. You know what? I'm not gonna be the old lady with a bunch of toys. I'm gonna go with cats, but I might I might just have to adopt a godchild or something.
Just get the toys. Look at like see all these freaking toys I got over here. Like, come on.
It's different when it's Barbie GodCloud
Oh, I guess so. No, it's
because
wait, no, it's not. It's get the toys. Like, look, I got Goku right here.
but then I need the cast thing too. I'm gonna have to always get the expanding packs.
This is a
I
really rare.
love toys.
These are hard to find because this is when he was fighting Freeze on Planet and having any Goku with the ripped pants. Tough. Yeah.
We need the toys. GodCloud toy 2025, yes. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to get. I really want to get a 3D printer and just start whipping some stuff up because why not?
They're
That'd be
very affordable now.
yeah. And people are, I know some people they sell the oh shit, they sell the like, the file to make like whatever, like
Yes,
especially in the Dragon Ball community because they don't make certain characters, so you could go like for $4 buy the
the
files and print.
STL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, but
Or,
yeah,
I just know like that's one of the file types for physical print items.
okay. Well, I know nothing about it. I know
Oh,
nothing.
I've been making 3D items. Like I have this drop that's coming actually, the Skelavaggio drop. It's coming and it has 3D items. And so I'm actually making 3D skulls and I'm making them printable as well. So like if you love the skulls that come out, you could actually have a 3D skull. They're super cute. And I just yeah. But
Okay,
I would love the I would love the God Cloud toy. That'd be amazing. But
yeah, it'd be action packed, yo. All
and
sorts
then
of weapons and
every
shit.
God Cloud toy is NFC chipped, so it plays a different song.
See, that's what I want to do. I don't. Shit. I don't know if this thing works here. So
Oh, hello.
this there's a set of these, and they all sing together. They all sing different parts in like the song and shit. Hey, Dylan, can you grab me another one of your Linkables, please?
Okay.
Grab your koala buddy. Does he work?
Um,
Can you reach him?
there's some legs.
Okay, bring him on over. Whatever's easiest for you. But I want to do something like this that connects to, you know,
The piano.
or yeah, that'd be cool if it connected to the piano too, kiddo. Yeah. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh, hi. Oh, hello.
Let's see if it'll work. Hold
Do they
on.
have to face each other?
No, they could just be in like proximity, but hold on.
Come on, friends, who's
Uh,
ready to play?
I think the battery's dead on this one.
Oh, hi.
Sorry, but
Oh, hello.
come on, do the thing. Why is this one not working?
Oh, hi. Hello.
Oh, here we go. Think you're about to do it.
Come on, friends, who's ready to play? Introduce yourself the Winklevoss way. Hello, friends, how are you today? Are you ready to play?
Being learning each and every day. Together as we play.
God Cloud, you're so adorable, bro.
Yeah, those are, but they're soup, yo. But
So
they
they
sing
start
together.
singing when they get close to each other. That's
Let
fucking
me go
crazy.
get Mr. Swaswa.
Careful, honey, because Mr. Sloth is kind of big. But yeah, like, and they got another line of them too, where they have like instruments. One's got like a little DJ, like a little turntable set, and
Mommy,
you put them all together, turn them all on,
Swaswa.
and they start breaking it down. Like I don't know if you saw, but one like they start introducing themselves. They're like, "Yo, I'm the moose, I'm the beaver, I'm the sloth, I'm the koala."
Oh, you're kidding.
Yo, it's so fucking cool, yo. And I'm thinking
Dang.
like, imagine music NFTs that are like that. Like you buy different ones and they're the different parts and they could make some cool like art piece to have on your wall and they work together in proximity. Like shit. Like that's I don't know. That's something I've been wanting to do for since I've been in the space. And it's based off of these freaking Linkables.
That is so cool.
Swaswa. My favorite Winklevoss.
This is the sloth one. But yeah, we got a bunch of these.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, hold on. I think his switch is on the bottom, but yeah, you
God
get
Cloud Linkables.
yeah
Let's go.
for real, yo. Like I have a
God
guitar
Cloud
one, a
Link.
drum machine one, a bass one, a rapping one. Like, oh, you okay, kiddo?
That's cool.
But
For me,
yeah,
I'll make all of the Maxximillian ones. I'll be Maxximillian on the drum machine, Maxximillian on the guitar, Maxximillian on the microphone.
right.
Maxximillian with the headphones on, Maxximillian backstage.
Yeah, hell, that's it. And I'm like, yo, this would be so cool with the NFC chip and the, all the stuff in there. I'm like, again,
Okay,
here's another idea. Whoever's watching, here's your shoes.
no, but GodCloud, like I'm about to rip it up for you right now. I'm about to totally rip it right now. It's not as hard as you think to make at least the first beginnings of your doll.
Yeah.
If you really want to try offline, I can help you get started. I would love for you to make your GodCloud doll. I feel like you have all the trappings, you know, you got your wrestling career, like people would buy the GodCloud doll.
Hold on, honey.
Hey, I'm gonna get a Saki to kill a doll, soft middle.
Stuffed Amidal.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna take you up on it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready and we'll do a session and I'll show you the tools and show you what I can show you to get you started. And I can share with you the conference that you probably want to go to where they make all the different you can see like the different toys that are being manufactured by the toy
Oh shit.
manufacturers to find your partner to
Oh
make the
well.
doll for
Okay.
you. You know what I'm saying?
All
Because you
right.
go, yeah. And unfortunately, they just had like the big conference, but there's other ones too. And you go, and like the companies are there that make the toys, and they have all the different boxes and stuff, the just the whole nine. And they're there to meet people that want to do business. So I mean,
Okay.
like God Club, there's nothing stopping you. Like you already have the notoriety and fame. I mean, you could have all the dolls, you and all the different bikini pants for for wrestling. All the different
Bikini
bikini
pants.
pants. Let's go.
Trunks. They're called trunks.
Hey,
Bikini
pants, trunks,
pants.
whatever. I just say pants because I didn't want to just be like I didn't want people to think I was talking about like swimwear, but
Bikini pants.
the
I just
bikini
found
pants,
out that the long wrestling pants are called long trunks. I'm like, long trunks? I just thought they
long
were
trunks.
pants.
Okay,
But
yeah,
yeah,
okay, long trunks. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Long trunks. We see you in the wrestling long trunks, God Cloud. But that would be amazing. You know how you get the expansion packs for the dolls that has like the different outfits and stuff. So we can get the main God Cloud doll, and then we can get the different expansion packs with all the different bikini trunks,
Yeah.
wrestling trunks,
Trunk,
bikini
yes.
trunks.
Trunks. Trunks.
Okay, not bikini trunks, just trunks.
Yeah.
Mermaids. I got mermaid toys.
You got mermaid toys? Okay.
Do you know what?
She wants
So
to show
let's.
me the toys.
Do you
Aw,
know what mermaid toys they from?
No, I don't. But there, daddy will finish up. Daddy will finish up. But all right, but yeah, let's go.
you're summoned.
What's that?
Jeez, I said you've been summoned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you excited? Yes, Dad,
So
finally.
noisy.
Here's your mermaid.
I'm like I can't even hear. But all right, appreciate y'all for tuning in. We hope that y'all had fun with us today. We had fun. And yeah, now you guys about to see some mermaid toys too. All right, there you go, everybody.
This one little mermaid.
Oh wait, these are all her sisters. No shit.
And there's Ariel. Wait, there's Ariel.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. There is Ariel.
Oh.
But all right.
This
Peace,
one is
peace,
so
y'all.
cool.
See you later.
We can get it in another way. Mermaid toys.
And we are coming to a close of this Onchain Music Cabal. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Friday, and this is the first Onchain Music Cabal of the year. And it's been a wild one. I'm looking forward to all that's to come. I'm looking forward to your drops. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to hearing you. And I'm looking forward to being seen and heard myself. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I know that you could have been anywhere, but I want you to know that I appreciate your time, your attention, your energy, and I hope you found the conversation delightful and enjoyable, if not enlightening. I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday, and we'll see you on X at 8:08 a.m. Pacific Time. You may see me again before then, showing off some beautiful art, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Now, who's this?